and she's going to update you on the status of the project. All right?
Good afternoon and welcome. There are a few extra seats up here if you guys would like a place to sit or back there where you're standing. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being in attendance. It's awesome to see such a great turnout today, especially on such a beautiful day. I mean, probably the prettiest day that we've had yet this spring. And in preparation for today, I will take a minute. I will introduce the board members from CTPFC that are here. And we're going to break this down. This is your time to ask questions, and this is my time to show you what I know, and to give you the best leadership and direction for what lies ahead. In preparation for today, it has become very clear to me that the Franklin County, Pennsylvania landowners and the Pennsylvania ratepayer has become party to one of the largest and most corrupt extortion cases ever to face Pennsylvania, quite possibly all of the United States. For the past 10 years, we've battled this 29 miles of transmission line through the heart of Franklin County. And you might ask, what is the power to be used for? Well, it's to feed a data center in Virginia, to be exactly precise. This is known as a market efficiency project, not stability of our grid. You might ask, why do I keep fighting this project? Because we were successfully able to show all the reasons this project should never have been built. We were able to use the example of the Franklin County Comprehensive Plan. We were able to expose the harm to farming and all the lives around and along the line. We were even able to expose the environmental damages caused by the construction of this line. We were also able to show that there was no benefit to Pennsylvania, only the burden. Please keep in mind, we did successfully beat this project the first time around. Now, through the means of extortion, we have a federal judge in a Third Circuit Court who decided to misuse their powers. Those powers being a misuse of eminent domain. The Federal Powers Act is very clear. It states that the state has the right to say no, and that the state of Pennsylvania has said no. The consequences of where things stand now is we've lost our due process. That's why we are facing briefs and petitions to the Supreme Court of the United States. Not the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, but the Supreme Court of the United States. Attorney General Dave Sunday, Coalition Protect Franklin County, a retired Federal Energy Regulatory Commissioner, Mark Christie, and 9 other states in conjunction also filed to the Supreme Court over this case. That should tell you something. That should signify the significance of where we stand and the example that Franklin County is being made of before all of the world before the eyes of the whole world, actually. So while we're waiting for a decision from the Supreme Court to either rule to throw this case back to the Third Circuit Court for an ongoing court hearing, which would entail all of the judges instead of just 3 judges presiding and listening to the re-argument of the case, we now have the new filings at the Pennsylvania Utility Commission as of May 21st, 2026. Those filings entitle 4 new filings. One is for a CPC, one is 600 pages long, which is actually the application process. It is so large that our computer system would not download it. So I painstakingly been going through page after page on the computer reading it. I might also want to include that this time around they've hired a new legal team, which feels a little confusing and cumbersome, but I guess they wanted to up their antes this time. So over the course of the next 60 days, we will write letters of opposition and intervention to the PUC. We will be asking townships, businesses, landowners, and residents to write these letters along with our elected representatives. Some of your talking points for those letters can and should include how this affects your property rights, your liberties, your justices according to the Constitution, property and business losses. We're going to also need to ask for and include public hearings and site visits. You have to remember that these will be a whole new round of judges that will preside over this case before the PUC. application also is based on data that is from 2017, which I believe that the statutes of limitations have run out on. They should not be allowed to rely on old data while applying for any project. It is also warranted in mentioning that their application also speaks to the $9 million agreement with their Franklin County Commissioners, making it sound as though Franklin County residents are in favor of this project, which couldn't be any further from the truth. I believe your letters also need to reflect the fact that the first project that was brought before the PUC has not been abandoned or resolved, allowing the financial clock to tick by, which has already totaled over $200 million. Who's paying for that? All of us. If you are a ratepayer only letter writer, you need to also include the fact that your electric bills are higher because of a project like this. So while individual letters to the PUC are needed, and it's a must to do so, it will be up to the coalition to protect Franklin County, the nonprofit organization which we have formed, to carry out the legal advocacy in this case. And that requires money. We are going to ask the community to stand up, and stand up largely. Coalition to Protect Franklin County is now a 501c3, and all those contributions are tax deductible. You will receive a tax receipt for those. Yes, we have fundraised in the past, and while that's fun, it is exhausting and time consuming, and it takes money to fundraise. I'd like to think at this point the reputation of the Coalition to Protect Franklin County that has set in this county for 10 years has come to a point to be trusted. I am here for you, and I'm here to defend our Constitution and our land rights. And I did also want to include, before I go to a Q&A time, some of the people who have already taken initiative to stand up for our community. One of those persons is Mike Ross of the Franklin County Area Development Corporation. He had an op-ed, which if you are following us along on Facebook, it's there. I have sent that out to some news and media outlets who, as a lot of you are seeing the WGAL news, somebody showed me a paper clipping or article from the Public Opinion, making it sound like it's a done deal, and here we go. When you see those news articles or those newscastings, it is up to you to call them and call them out. The other side of the story has the right to be heard, and it should be heard. WGAL has not followed up with any of the comments I've left for them. News, ABC 27 has, and CBS 21 has been in contact. I did want to announce that the law firm is called Buchanan, that is representing Transource this time around, and they are out of, I believe, the